Welcome to my podcast, Cold Narratives. I'm your host, Iceberg Green. About to let y'all hear some of these cold narratives. Check it out. So now it's so crazy. They want, they just try to really rob black people every type of dignity or anything we proud of, and now it's the hair. It's like we can't get you another way, but we just gonna try to strip you of some type of dignity and pride, and hair and dress, and specifically locks is symbolized, it's part of symbolism of our people and strength. So when you take that from a person and saying, oh, you can't wear it when you play sports, you're pretty much just saying we finna knock you off of your strength, man. And that's what they love doing to us. So check this out.
Racism in sports remains prevalent. From the high school level,
16-year-old Nicole Piles says her hair was braided with beads and tied in a bun like she'd worn it in previous games when an umpire told her she had to either remove the beads or sit the game out.
to college, with longtime coach Jim Boone, who told black player Tyler Williams he disapproves of his hair.
You had talked about my hair like you're not liking it, and like you not like want to recruit nobody with locks like mine. Kind of like basically saying like you're not gonna bring nobody in with hair like mine. Probably not. To me, that's a racist comment.
It's not about race. It's about hair.
And even the pros, with the NFL and Rock Nation teaming up with Crushers Club founder Sally Hazelgrove.
The organization came under scrutiny recently when on social media posts like this showed up. This is Crushers Club's president Sally Hazelgrove cutting a young man's dreads off. They are also known for encouraging the phrase "all lives matter."
You know what? I just thought, and the cool thing about it, you got these athletes and these entertainers actually not speaking up against this. You guys are getting all these clutch sports and all these different agents are pretty much encouraging these players, hey, do what they say, man. You know what master say, cut your hair off, you got to do it. And I ain't feeling that, man. If y'all in position of power and y'all in entertainment, sports, and all that stuff, and you encouraging black people to degrade themselves and to undermine themselves by cutting their hair to enjoy life and they play sports, man, I ain't with that, man. And I'm coming for you, man. I'm coming for you, black media, we coming for you. So for real, man, stop encouraging the people. Let people live their life, man. If they want to have dreads, if they want to wear a wig, hey, let them do it, man. You let all these other genders be what they want to be, so now you just going to hair. That's what I'm saying, man. I ain't feeling it.
Yet in the world of collegiate sports, there is a huge story coming out of the University of Iowa. Former strength and conditioning coach Chris Doyle was accused by several ex-players of racism, or telling them he'll send them back to the ghetto and criticize the way they wore their hair. He allegedly told former football player Terrence Pryor to take up rowing, then said, oh wait, black people don't like boats in water, do they? This and many more instances fall under the long tenure of Iowa head football coach Kirk Ferentz, pictured here. Former Iowa player James Daniels said black players were treated unfairly for too long in the program. In 2020, ESPN spoke with 14 former Iowa players and 3 former athletic department employees, most of whom described a culture where black players felt isolated and were held to a different standard than their white teammates. Running back Akram Wadley, who played at Iowa from 2014 to 17, also provided details of what transpired from none other than Kirk Ferentz's son Brian, the team's offensive coordinator. Wadley alleged Brian Ferentz asked him if he planned to rob a liquor store or a gas station whenever he saw Wadley wearing a team-issued wool cap. Daniels, now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, would tell a podcast hosted by fellow Hawkeye players, there's always a black table, a white table. The main root of the problem is that black players did not feel like they could be themselves in the facility. It felt like the black players had to conform to being the white Iowa try-hard football player.
This is another example of that boy I said so type of situation. This type of stuff is going on, man, and tell your kids, to all the kids out there that don't think racism still exists because you living in this new era, once you get called one of those racist words, you'll understand how serious racism is against black people. So to the new generation, man, that don't believe racism still exists, it does, and it's at its highest peak. based on, you know, what people are realizing in life. So you got to pay attention to all this shit. For real, man.
Wadley and 12 others filed a suit in November of 2020. Though some charges were dismissed, 2 could proceed. The school's racially hostile environment and that Doyle and Ferentz intentionally discriminated against their own players. Fast forward to March of 2023, and a $4.175 million settlement was reached between the school and the players, who accused Coach Ferentz of overseeing a racially discriminatory culture. Ferentz was none too pleased and made his feelings known through the media. Meanwhile, State Auditor Rob Sand voted against the settlement because he wanted one more domino to fall. Sand, one of the 3 appeal board members, demanded the University of Iowa oust athletics director Gary Barta. Barta is closing in on 20 years in his role with the school. Per the suit, players called for both Kirk and Brian Ferentz to be fired along with Barta. CBS Sports would note, this isn't the first instance of Iowa facing controversy under Barta. Former field hockey coach Tracy Griesbaum and her partner, former Iowa staffer Jane Meyer, were paid $6.5 million as part of a discrimination suit in 2014. In 2012, Iowa Associate Director of Student Services Peter Gray resigned after an internal probe found he sexually harassed athletes.
You know, and the cold thing about this guy been in at this college for over 20 years. 20 years of this. So just imagine 20 years of undermining students and degrading them and the boy I said so type of mentality. It knocks a lot out of students because they are not able to be themselves. You're telling them how to be. Oh, you got to cut your hair, or you can't do this. You have to hang out here. Okay, so this is Bomani Jones, and this is his take on racism in colleges and its effect and why it shouldn't even be happening in the first place. Check it out.
A point I always make about the civil rights movement is that as momentous and important as it was, when you really go back and look at what people were fighting for, it was stuff they were already supposed to get. Everybody deserves basic dignity. Everybody deserves to be treated right by their coaches and the people who are around them. And that is what the players are fighting for at every turn here, is really the basic concept of dignity.
I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to say God bless everyone going through the struggle. And watch out for them cold narratives that the government be trying to push on us, y'all. And to all my black people, I would be nothing without y'all. Thank you all.